we had guests today. We're talking to some people from Wurstfest. We have Randy Russ. What are you, president?
Yes, President.
And Wayne Glassen. I don't know, resident guy. Grossa Opa.
40 years out there, President.
Have you been 40 years? How long have you been in?
16.
That's awesome. You know, I don't know if you all know all the history. I was going to give you a quick rundown. 1961, Ed Grist started a festival for sausage. And what's kind of neat about it, I guess back in the day, and you guys can probably confirm this, I mean, Braunfels had a lot of sausage manufacturers.
Yes.
And that was kind of the reason Wurstfest was started, was kind of celebrate that. But I think all of us have memories of being kids. I know I do. You know, come September, November, you know, earliest November, you know, being a little small kid in there with all the uncles grinding meat and making sausage. And, you know, I think that probably had to play into it as well. It's just that whole family get together thing.
Yeah, I can remember back in the day, we'd wait until we knew there was a good cold front coming through. And we'd start getting the deer meat out of the freezer and then butcher a hog and do the scraping and the whole making blood sausage and head cheese and little wurst and everything. I said we used everything but the squeal.
Yeah, they had a little bit, at some of the first Wurstfest, they had a sausage contest where you bring your homemade sausage.
Oh, cool.
And they sample it, kind of like a barbecue cook-off, but it was a sausage cook-off. And they judge it, and someone will win best sausage.
I've never eaten blood sausage to my knowledge. What's that like?
Like blood sausage. It's its own flavor.
Its own thing.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's got well, my heritage. They put cloves in it, and then you basically get the meat hot, and then you pour the blood in it, semi-cooked it. Then you stuff it in a sausage. I mean, in a sausage, in a casing, and then you dip it in boiling water to cook the casing. And then my mom would take it and cut it in pieces and split it down the middle and pan fry it for breakfast.
So speaking of new things at Wurstfest this year, the blood sausage booth is going to be located where?
It's really good. If you don't know what it is, it's really good.
I don't really like the cloves in it, but it is good. It is.
You could just tell somebody it's made with red wine.
You have a lot of wives at that point eating that. Since 1961, Wurstfest has obviously brought meatly kite and sausage to millions of people. We have to talk a little bit about, this should have been the 61st festival.
Yes.
The 60th didn't happen for a couple of reasons. I wanted to ask you two, we all know there was a fire. What was it like when you got the call that the marketplace was on fire?
Well, actually, the night it started on fire, they called me and they said, there was a fire, but it's out.
Yeah, I remember
I said,
that.
okay, great, And then the next morning, I'm out at the game place working, and the phone rings, and it's telling me, it says, Baron Castell. What's he want at 6 o'clock in the morning, So I answered the phone and said, hello, Baron, what's up? He goes, the market plot's burned down. I said, no, it didn't. They put it out last night. And he goes, no, it started up again this morning. And he said, it's a complete loss. And I think I just stood there with the phone to my ear for probably a minute or two. I was like in shock.
Yeah.
I mean, I couldn't believe it.
I think no one in this town could believe it. I heard about the small fire, but then you look on the news and it's gone.
Yeah.
I think, wow, unbelievable.
We had people videoing it from up on the hill, and it was like, oh my gosh. The thing is, I always look at the bright side. All right, it could have been 10 days before that.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, it could have been.
Could have been last Saturday
It could
night.
have been a lot of different scenarios. We're gonna have people in there, so I'm highly disappointed that it did burn. But I mean, at the same time, you got to look at it like, okay, at least we got through a festival. It didn't happen on a Saturday night. I just like to look at the bright side.
And I think you're right, because Wurstfest had a couple of hits. That, and then we're going to rebuild, be ready for 2020.
Right.
Then here comes COVID.
Right. Well, we had a whole year, another bright side.
Yeah.
To get it rebuilt.
Yeah. And I think that speaks to kind of what I wanted to ask you too about is the resilience. For a festival to have lasted this long, to have grown the way it is, it took some, Ray, I'd give you some credit since you're the leader. It took resilience to say we're gonna come back better than ever.
Yeah, but I will tell you, if it wouldn't have been for the 40 presidents before me, and they had the foresight to put money back and hold it and, save it instead of just, it's great that we have a new market plots. Like I said, I would have rather did it on our time as instead of, where we could have planned what we wanted to do and then did it. But I mean, a bunch of old squareheads probably would have never let loose of the money, even if we had it. So,
You say this in Germans on board?
it's just, a bunch of penny pinching Germans, that's what we do.
You repeated yourself, you mentioned Germans.
Yeah. But no, it's, like I said, it was nice to be in the lead for this, to have the rebuild, but it wasn't me. It was, all the committees, everybody in Wurstfest. I mean, they're just,
A lot of people came together, right? I mean, a lot of Opos were volunteering their time, and I want to help out with this.
I mean,
There was a whole rebuild committee, and there was the concessions chairman got with all his vendors to line everything out, put it back the way that they kind of wanted it,
Mhm.
I mean, for a short period, you couldn't do everything you wanted, you couldn't work every logistic out, but they worked out 90% of it. And so it was a rush job, so.
Well, it looks really good.
yeah, it's wonderful, but,
Awesome.
when you have to go back and, before it was always, okay, you're grandfather because you've been here for so long. You don't have to have, a 20-foot fire lane. We'll let you get by with this 14-footer, But then, when it's all gone and you start from the foundation, then they're like, okay, well, now this has to be to code and this has to be to code, and which is good, but
They're there for a reason, but makes
Yes.
it different for sure. I know there's a space in between the market plots and the worst hall that needs to be kind of connected, and that was a fire
Yes.
code thing.
That's a-
So things like that. Maybe if you wouldn't mind talking about it, people haven't been out there to look at it, what's different about the market plots? And then if you would say, is the worst hall due to some damage, how different is it inside there? Maybe talk about those two things, if you don't mind.
the worst hall, there's really not a whole lot of difference in the inside. The only thing really that's different, well, we built a better sound booth, and then the non-skid walkways, we had to replace those. But other than that, the worst hall is probably, other than the decorations, we had to buy new decorations and stuff. But I say it's the same, it's really not. Because that building, when it was originally built, it was built to breathe. It had soffits underneath so that the air could come in and take the heat out. Well, I'm assuming, and I don't know when it happened or how it happened or why, but I'm assuming that it got really cold one year. So they went in and they shut all those soffits off. I don't know if you ever remember looking up there, there was different colored pieces of plywood, like yellow and red and green. Well, when they put those up there, it helped warm the place up, but it would never cool back down. So now when you go in there, I walked in there in the middle of the summer, and it was probably 20 degrees cooler inside than it is on the outside, because it's allowed to do what it's supposed to do.
That's a big difference for Wurstfest to not be hot.
Yeah.
Those
That's
concrete walls, of course,
Yep.
take in whatever the climate is, and hold it. Sure, that makes it a lot.
It's amazing if you think about what the Germans did. I can't think of the name of the place. It's out on 46 across from the Heidrichs. It's an old farmhouse and everything out there. But anyway, we went out there because Wurstfest did some stuff with them. And, you have these big old butter blocks that there's a barn, and they're 10, 12 foot in the air. And they didn't have cranes and forklifts, and so they did it all with mules and pulleys, and and it's amazing how even back then when the worst hall was built, that they knew how to, vent it to where it would be bearable in there.
That's gonna be nice then.
Yeah, it's really, really nice.
What about the market plots? I know it's way different, so.
Well, the market plots, where it used to be down each side and one down the middle, now we have 4 little pods. There's a bar, obviously, on each end like it used to be. And then there's 2 pods in between there's food vendors, and when you walk toward the worst hall through the main alleyway, it's more like merchandise and stuff, where the Sophienberg's gonna be selling their mugs and stuff and their hats.
And then most everybody came back who was in the old one, is that correct?
I'm
As far as vendors go?
pretty sure everybody, I don't think the Eagles Ladies Auxiliary came back. But I think everybody else.
Barber shop.
Now,
quartet.
yeah, barbershop
Because
quartet.
They were, I think, about ready to call it good anyhow. And so this just sped up
Yeah,
their
it
decision.
just helped.
It
them.
was, and we got 26, 27 vendors up there in the new market plots, and a couple of them that were up there have been moved down to the bottom underneath the Stelson
Yeah, I
house.
think you had said that it kind of spread it out a little bit.
Like you know where the downtown Rotary booth was, and then the corn booth was always right next to them, the soccer.
Yeah.
They moved over into the new area by Bar 5 where the food trucks are.
Right.
So I think that'll help them. But other than that, everybody's still there. Some of them got a little bit more space, some of them got a little less space.
But it seemed pretty intuitive, and then, the restrooms, that's a big deal.
Oh, yes.
Oh, yeah.
Yes. There's, in pod B is the men's restroom, and in pod C is the women's restroom. And there's
24
20-something urinals, I think.
urinals and 6 stalls in the men's, and I think there's 24 restrooms in the ladies.
The judge confirmed that we do still have by the urinals,
Yes.
Oh, yes.
okay. So
Brand new.
Yes.
That's important.
Brand new.
That was
right up.
Ron Reeves brought it up in one of our board meetings. He says, y'all are gonna put those little boards up there so we can put our beer.
It's very important. It's really awkward really fast in there.
I know,
Can you hold my beer?
it's kind of hard to hold that cup between your teeth,
Yeah. But we
but I have done it.
make it happen. So that's cool. And then I know the Big Tent's got some changes this year.
Yes, the big tent where we used to have the entertainer on the Landa Park Drive side, singing down toward the river. We rotated that tent. I said 180 degrees the other day, but it's only 90 after I got to thinking about it. And now the music will project up into the market plots. And they're gonna have a little backstage area for the entertainers, but it'll be backed up
I
against
kind of like that.
the whole.
That would be better.
And the
Yeah.
way the asphalt runs downhill towards Bar 5,
Okay.
it's gonna be kind of like an amphitheater in
Right.
the sense that you can, if you're standing even outside the tent, you can still see.
We have a lot more way to see in with the tent being
Exactly.
wider on that.
Well, see,
side.
Miles, my festival chairman,
Mhm.
his goal was always to make the slope hill there down to the river like an amphitheater.
Mhm.
And I told him after the fire, I said, we didn't have any more money for that. So I said, we're gonna change the tent around so you have your amphitheater
That's
effect.
very thoughtful of you.
I was trying to help him out
Yeah,
with
you're nice to Miles.
with his-
He
with
needs
his
that, yeah.
ideas.
Going kind of back to market plots, the brick thing, maybe fill us in on what's going on with that. I know you're gonna start selling bricks again, but how many bricks are gonna be there and who's all in that and all that sort of stuff? That's kind of a big deal.
Yes, the bricks that we have today are in. Of course, in front, there's one section that is just opens and in memory of certain opens and so forth. And it's got a big Wurstfest logo in the middle of it, and it looks awesome. Then the next section are the ones that were sold to the general public, and there's about a third filled in. So we still have 2/3 to go, which will be concreted over this year and then taken back out next year. They're gonna start selling bricks again on November the 1st. And they will be purchased after Wurstfest and then put in before the next year's Wurstfest.
It's kind of awesome to think about, 50 years from now, the bricks with our names will be there. I was thinking I could bring
I
my,
won't be here, but they'll be.
the brick will still be here.
I told Nancy she can lift my brick up, put my ashes under it, and put it back down.
That's good thinking. She said, okay.
She said, as long as you don't care, I'll put you wherever you want.
We were actually out there, Monday, Tuesday, when they were laying the bricks and everything, and they had just finished the section, and we were out there doing a TV spot that's gonna air later. So I went over, took a beer and spilled it on my brick. Just, I wanted to be the first person.
It's
to
like
spill
the
beer.
christening of a boat.
Yes.
The spilling of the beer, yeah.
And then the lady with the television station, she goes, "Can y'all do that again?" But my wife, she just goes, whoosh. I'm like, "Hey, you're just supposed to sprinkle it. You're not supposed to pour a whole can on it."
That's kind of awesome, though.
Yeah.
Are we allowed to bring our screwdriver and move our bricks around? Is that allowed?
No,
Okay, just checking on that.
I don't think you could anyway. I think I'm pretty.
They kinda
Pretty
tight.
tight in there.
That's probably a good idea. This year, I know Wurstfest has changed some free nights around.
Yes.
There's more free nights than there used to be, as well as some of the hours have changed. I want you to maybe kind of fill us in on that kind of stuff.
Well, on the first Friday, we used to be free until 7 o'clock. Well, if you ever worked gates and you had to be the person that stood there and said, "You have to pay and you don't have to pay,"
Yeah.
it was really, you had some unhappy people. So now I guess we're gonna just make them all unhappy because we're gonna charge. But we're going to be free on Monday, Tuesday, Wednesdays, and Thursdays. We stay open till 10 o'clock, Monday, Tuesday, Wednesday, Thursday, till 11 o'clock on Friday, and to midnight on Saturdays. And Sundays still 10 as well.
Right.
But, and then the last Sunday after 3 is free.
There's buy one, get one availability. Is it on both Sundays?
Yes,
Okay. Okay, I was thinking about that. So
I forgot about that. I'm
Some
glad
people
you,
had asked
I'm
that.
glad you brought that up.
And everyone has no excuse not to get the chamber mix on Tuesday the night. You get in free anyhow, but anyhow, and you get beer tickets.
Yeah, I'm accepting anybody's beer ticket coupons they don't want. They can just drop them off at the chamber and I'll come by on Tuesday and pick them up.
But no, we'll do a ribbon cutting, I'm assuming. And then we're gonna dedicate our little bronze Opus statue that we have.
Yeah, I had him on my list to ask you about, so he's pretty cool looking.
Where's he at, Randy?
He's in right in front of the tower where the information booth used to be.
Oh, okay.
They're gonna put a
Mural.
mural behind it. It'll be a really good photo opportunity spot.
Yeah, that's cool. I like it. Paul Tadlock did that.
Yes,
if I'm not
Paul,
mistaken.
yes, he did.
You all know who Paul Tadlock is, super awesome, local sculptor. And
I was-
just a good dude.
I was kind of hoping that we would do something more like a cartoon character, like the little Opa on the, but they went with the more traditional, everybody says it looks like Miles Granzine. So maybe that's why Miles is the festival chairman.
It could be, yeah. He maybe finagled that. Let me ask you, we kind of talked about any more facts, things we should cover from YouTube?
Oh, I do want to tell everybody, the first Saturday at 11 o'clock, the new the county band, community band will be playing in the Big Ten. My wife's gonna make her debut at Wurstfest, playing her clarinet.
Oh, wow,
So
really?
we need as many people there as we can get. Everybody come support the community band. They're pretty good for a bunch of mature people.
I like them. I don't think I remember, I knew Kaya started playing the clarinet. She must be pretty good at it.
Well, she played it she told me, she goes, "You don't have to be that good to play the community band," but just her.
I think they're really good.
They
No,
sound
no,
pretty
they-
good.
they-
They do.
I've been going, obviously since she's playing, I've been going to their concerts and
Yeah,
they sound really well.
yeah, they're good.
They played up in Fredericksburg. and
Yeah, they played
They
in
sang-
Fredericksburg.
they
We had a
played
bunch of,
3
we had a-
hours?
yeah.
They played a long.
we had a pretty good showing
They
of
were very good.
Opas at the Wurstfest, at the festival in Fredericksburg. And they played up there. We had a good time.
I know in entertainment this year shuffled around a little bit because the Germans are kind of locked down.
Yes,
So you said you're filling in some other bands, local or other regional kind of bands this year.
I can't remember all the name of them, but yeah, none of the German bands that
Which is
traditionally
sad
appear.
because
Yeah,
they're locked
because-
down like crazy over there.
Well, it's like with Molly B and Ted, their banjo player and guitar player, Joe, the little guy,
Yeah,
he's from Canada and
they can't get in.
they can't get
They
back.
can't get out.
I think they can get out, they just can't get back in.
Wow, really?
Yeah.
I like that guy. That's
I
too
know,
bad.
Joe was,
Yeah. It's gonna be different, but
Yes.
overall, having a Wurstfest is gonna be awesome.
Yes.
I'm so excited to have it back personally, and the marketplace looks really cool. I can't wait to see how well that performs and, how if it affects lines differently and things like that.
We've had 2 dry runs so far with all the vendors out there and turning on all the lights at one time, and everybody turning on, their water, and then we had Oprah's walking around flushing toilets to make sure that everything was
The breakers all filled, right?
that was gonna work the way it's supposed to.
And luckily nothing back then.
Yeah,
That's good.
Everything.
That's
And
good.
they did reduce some of the lines. I mean, some of the bigger food booths are on the they are on the outside edge to where the line doesn't back up in,
Right,
get you all that.
right.
That's one thing that they did when they designed or when they placed the booths back. They put the larger booths, like the Carlton's booth, the Smokehouse, Edelweiss, the Little League's still up there where they were,
But
and then the Rotary with the pancakes.
Yeah,
They put those facing the east or the river so that there's more room for lines.
makes
and
sense.
So you can queue people and get them through.
there's quite a bit of space between them and the river too.
yeah, we've got a 20-foot fire lane on both sides of the marketplace, so
Might as
there's
well
a
use
lot of room.
Oh, yeah.
A lot
That-
more
right.
room.
Yeah,
that It's not gonna be as crowded.
right.
The only disappointment this year is the rain has kind of slowed down the Elizabeth Street parking lot.
I wasn't gonna bring that up.
It did get seal coated yesterday. so-
Really?
But, well, it is what it is, we can, if all we have to do is deal with parking, I can handle that.
But shuttles, people who would park there typically just park down at Schlitterbahn and ride the shuttle in.
Right.
I've done that for about 3 or 4 years already, and that's the way to go.
They
It's
drop
super
you off
convenient.
right at the gate, they
Yeah.
pick you up right at the gate, so
Yeah.
it's really.
I've told everybody jokingly, I said, if it snows during Wurstfest, it would not surprise me.
No, not anymore. Everything's on the table now.
Nothing can slow us down. We're going full speed.
Let me ask you guys one more question, and we'll take some questions from the audience as well, if they have any. What are you guys most excited about this year? Besides having Wurstfest, what's both of you, what are you most excited about this year?
To see all the people again, shake their hands.
I can't wait to get it started. There's so many people that they're just asking, what's going and I think with this new market plots and everything being rejuvenated, that we're gonna have people just coming to see.
Is that not the spirit of Wurstfest? Just to walk around and see people who are just having a great time.
See the little kids running around, even though I hate it myself, the chicken dance. Just to see all the little kids doing the chicken dance and
This is gonna be chicken dance master.
you know, trying to poke, just having a good time.
I like that
Good-
trying to focus.
Yeah, a good family atmosphere. So that's what we want to bring.
And Randy's you're being humble because you're a good dancer. You and Kay tear it up, man.
She tells people that's the reason she married me, because I could dance.
I'm glad she had a good reason.
Wayne, you pretty excited to be Gross Opa?
I'm very excited. Everyone asks me, I mean, this is the one thing that I'm getting asked more than anything is, can you speak German? Gross over should speak German, right? Well, I can't speak German. When I was growing up, my grandparents, my father, would speak German when they didn't want me or my sister to know what they're talking about. So they didn't teach us. And of course, this is shortly after World War II. So German was like, you didn't really tell people your heritage back then. And so that it was one of those deals. And then, of course, my father was fluent in 4 languages: English, German, Spanish, and profanity. I learned 2 of them. But anyway, it wasn't German, it wasn't Spanish. But other than that, yeah, I'm just excited to get this on the road and have fun and load it on.
It's been a long, I would say, I guess 2 years.
Yes.
Like I said, we could hardly wait the 365 days to get started
Yeah.
again. Now we had to wait almost 700,
No,
over 700.
you don't know what you got till it's gone, man.
That's right.
It was a hole in our community last November, for sure. We were all sitting around going, we should be drinking beer right
What would
now.
I be doing right now? What would I be doing right now?
Anybody in the audience got any questions? We got like a couple minutes left.
This is Ron. You might want to remind people that on Wurstfest.com, they can get discounted admission tickets up until through this month only. And they can buy their allotment of beer tickets too, online.
You
Yes.
can buy all things online.
You can buy everything online. It saves you a little bit of time in the line.
Yeah,
Online saves you time in the line.
you can get in with your online ticket as well, on your phone. And then you can redeem your drink tickets at several locations around the grounds and save the drink ticket line. Hildegard, are you gonna be dancing at Wurstfest? Oh, she's muted. I think she's saying yes. While we're getting Hildegard on, any insider tips for anybody this year? Anything we should know?
Yeah, I come Monday through Thursday. It's free and it's not the crowds aren't there. I mean,
Yeah. We'll see this year. I think we'll see, everybody's pent up demand. I think a lot of festivals have been one way or the other. But I think Wurstfest is gonna be pretty busy this year.
well, I know our pre-sale tickets online are higher than they were
Good.
in 19. So,
I think it's gonna be busy.
most festivals, the Fair Association, they had a really good fair this year. And they were up. So I think everything, weather holding them decent, we
I was
should
gonna ask you to be taking care of the weather for us.
Yeah.
Other than the snow.
Yeah.
The snow.
Yeah.
I see Bill's got some snow in his background, so he's getting ready. Bill Burrow over there. Any more questions?
Just stop.
Hildegard, I hear you now. Are you dancing?
What did you say, Nathan?
Are you gonna be dancing at Wurstfest?
Yes, we'll dance Sunday. It's the first Sunday at the Stelzen House at 3 o'clock.
Right on. Okay, Elizabeth, were any hat pins made from the last couple of years for our hats? There was a 2020 worst year ever hat pin, right? If I'm not mistaken.
There's
That was JC's.
That was JC that did that?
Yeah.
I know, so from Petersburg, we've got a lot, and a lot of them are dated.
Yeah.
But they did sell out of most of the hat pin breeds. I know they got one for this year, and I
Yeah.
think they had some from last year.
You gotta really go and ask them
Mm-hmm.
early, like the first Friday. Go
Yeah,
ask them
Yes.
what there is.
Because they'll go fast.
Leftovers, they do sell out. I know that the band boosters, they sell out previous year, like immediately, of hat pins and things like that.
Yeah, and the local, Nathan, I'm pretty sure Cat over at the local has those 2020 worst year ever pins plus others.
Yeah, Heidi was holding one up. So those do exist here and there, Elizabeth. You have to go find out. If you buy me some beer, I'll tell you where to go to get one. Any more questions from everybody? You guys have anything else? Otherwise, we're done. All right.
I'll see y'all at Wurstfest. Come by. I got some president's pins I'll give you.
Yes, please.
Auf Wiedersehen and Prost, everybody.
Yep.